Hello and welcome to the Fit and Fabulous at Any Age podcast. I'm here today with my mom, Camille, 57-year-old badass, and my sister, Dakota, 29-year-old badass. Super excited.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be diving into, I think we're just going to be having kind of like a chat. I also had some Q&As on my phone. I wanted to go over those.
Really?
I do that once a week, or twice a week, and I answer them on my stories. But
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna start asking more of those Q&As. But we were talking about your Dakota. You have your competition this week,
Mom's got a
so
root beer ready.
yeah.
I
Is that
Yeah,
know.
your
so
root
Did
I'm
you
in.
hear me open it up?
I did. I did. It was Mother's Day yesterday. Happy Mother's Day to Mom and all of our beautiful fierce queens, first of all.
Yeah. Happy
Thank
Mother's Day
you.
to you, Mom.
Yeah,
Is that
Yeah.
your new
you girls
outfit?
both. It was a
Yeah,
good
are
day.
you wearing your new outfit?
That's, is that it?
Yeah. So cute. My
That's
girls
so
got me
cute.
this cute little onesie.
Wait,
So
I want to
cute.
see. You have to
You
show
want to
us now.
see? Okay, let me
I
back
hope
up. It's like,
You
I
can.
hope you're watching
Oh,
this on YouTube because if there you
oh,
go, that's cute, Mom. That
yeah,
looks
it
really
is
good on
pretty
you.
cute. I love
wait, Mom.
it.
You can run to the back. You can run to the other side of your bed and show us the full fit.
Yeah,
You
let's
want
see
me to
it.
show you
I
the
want.
full fit?
Yes, run to
Oh,
the other side of your bed.
okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Like this? Like this?
Oh yeah, Mom.
that's so
Is that
cute.
it?
I love
Full body. That is
every
cute.
every time you would buy us new clothes when we were growing up. You'd always have us we would buy the
Fashion
clothes
show.
and try it on in the store, but then we'd come home and you'd be like, okay, now you're gonna try it on again.
Yeah.
So
See how it looks at
that's
home. It's always fun to try on at home. Yeah. So thanks.
it
Yeah,
I
is
love
fun to
it.
try
we
So
on.
still
cute.
do that. We still do that. If we go shopping, we'll just bring it back to Mom's house and be like, and I got this. And then, if we want, we'll try it on for each other and be like, look at this.
I know. I know. So
Well,
Anyways,
fun.
it's fun to see what you bought, and it's cute, and you want to try it on again. So it just makes
and you got to make
sense.
sure that you
Yeah.
like it in your own home, your own lighting, because it's different than the store.
It's
Yep.
true. Because if you don't, then you won't wear it, right? You got to return it.
Yeah. With your own
Yeah.
accessories. Yeah. True.
Hmm.
So Coda, you're going to Pittsburgh this week.
Pittsburgh,
Um,
yeah.
Yay.
she's doing I can't remember the name of what it's called. I can't even think. It's like
It's
Pittsburgh Pro
It's
Natural.
well, it's there's a pro show, but there's a natural amateur side of it attached to it. So it's like a pro am.
Yeah, I was gonna do that
Oh,
show.
cool.
This show that was on my list this year, but I switched coaches. So because I switched coaches, we needed to take some time to understand my body and yeah, I was thinking I was gonna do it, but I am actually really glad. Now that it's here, I'm really glad I decided not to, because it's just too much back to back to back to back to back. So
Sometimes it's good to
give
take
us a
that
little
break.
insight, like, and I know a lot of our people that listen may not compete, but they might not understand what peak week is about. So peak week
Mm.
essentially is the week that you allow your body to recover from all the training and all the dieting, and you have to let your body come down from the inflammation. So that's where Dakota is, and then you're traveling Thursday, and then do you
Traveling
compete on
Thursday.
Saturday or Sunday?
Compete on Saturday. Yep. Yep. And our
Wow.
flights there really suck. I was telling Mom this last night. Our flights are so crappy from out of here. Luckily, we're flying out of the city that we live in. So, and then we've got one layover, but the flights still suck. And my body retains water like crazy when I fly. And so I have compression stockings, I have compression socks, I have compression things for my legs and my waist just because my body retains like crazy. And when we've done that before, it's worked well. And so yeah, so I
That's
wear.
crazy. I didn't know you had to do like compression socks and stuff. That's crazy.
Well, in general, when you
They're
fly, you
tall
should be
too.
wearing compression socks. In general, when you fly, you should be wearing compression socks no matter who you are because you're at higher risk for
Okay.
clot. But it just kind of, I just
I will
retain
prefer
fluid like
to here.
crazy. So, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I just retain fluid like crazy. And so it kind of helps just alleviate any of that. And yeah. And my body, like the way that, when I fly, how we do my food is different than most people just because my body retains like crazy. Like when me and mom went to Florida, my weight was up, what, 5 pounds, mom? That was wild from
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've learned
Yeah.
my body.
I do have
Anyways,
clients that when they fly, their bodies do hold a crazy amount of water weight. So that's, I would say, it does happen to some people, but that's frustrating when you're traveling for a competition. But at least you
yeah,
figure that out, right? I think sometimes it's important to know what your body does and not like compare yourself to other people because everybody's bodies respond differently when they fly or when they travel. I actually will drop
True.
weight when I fly, and I think a lot of it has to do with my drop in cortisol. When
probably.
I travel away from my family, like, and I know that sounds kind of mean, but it's true. Like when I'm
The
not
stress.
with like Jordan and Brecken, and I get to be away from them, that stress of like being mom all the time, that responsibility is not there. I get to literally just do whatever the fuck I want. So I always drop, but that would be really frustrating for you. But that actually worked against me my last show. I dropped too much weight and I came in
Oh,
too flat and I looked not good. So I feel like I know for like women watching this that are like not competitors, they're like, well, that must be nice that you drop weight when you travel. When you're trying to like compete and stay full, like that's not always like the best look. So,
yeah.
well, that's
Well, and
exciting, Coda. I'm
that's,
excited to see how it goes this weekend for you. You're gonna do really good, and
yeah, it'll
it's
be
gonna
She
be
looks
really
fun.
so
fun.
good. She's so
You'll
Oh,
see
rich.
a lot
thanks,
of
mom.
my friends there. Say hi to them.
Yeah,
Um, Backstage is so great. I feel like the fit model community is
so
amazing.
great.
All the women are so supportive. It's very different, and I'm not hating on bikini. I used to compete in bikini. I used to do all the national shows, so I can say this. I did it for years. There is a different camaraderie with fit models in the amateur, the national level, and even the pros than there was with bikini. I just feel like the community is a lot more close knit. The women are more uplifting and supportive. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. And maybe bikini's different now, but that was my experience. Like when I started doing fit model, I was like, wow, all these women are just like literally cheering each other on, like regardless of how we do. Um, so that's really exciting. So you'll have a blast. It'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
It'll be fun.
excited. So always fun. Casey's going with me, so that'll be fun. And yeah,
That's nice.
yeah,
It
That's
is
nice.
fun,
That's
and all your
exciting.
friends are going to be there that you compete with. That's always so fun.
yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
best part.
yeah.
I feel like I
I
want to
know.
like be like, okay, at least I'm here with my friends, and that's nice. Casey's with you. That's really nice.
He
I
is,
don't travel with Jordan. I would if
yeah,
we didn't have Brecken. I would have him come with me, but like, having to get a babysitter every 4 weeks, that's impossible. So, especially for like 4 days. Mom, when are you're doing Nashville, right? You're gonna compete in
I'm doing
Nashville.
Nashville. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
It's not till like August, the middle of August. So I've got some time. Even my coach was like, Camille, we can start here on my birthday. So I still have a couple months until I really start prepping for it. So I think he's going to try to build me a little bit because I've been vacationing a lot. So yeah,
Yeah, you
it's going to be fun. I
have.
love Nashville.
She's like, oh, I'm here this week, and I'm here this week. Yes. Yeah, that's
just
hard.
gotta
Yeah,
repack my bag and do some laundry.
I
Yep.
did. I did. I just kind of
um,
kept it full for about 2.5 months and yeah, would just take off every other week. So it's been a busy, busy spring, but it's good to be home and back on schedule. And yeah, So our weather's getting nice. And I do love hitting the gym and eating more normal. So it's kind of hard to go back and forth. So, especially this last trip. This last trip was hard. So,
That really,
Well,
yeah,
Mom,
that kind of threw.
share your food
Share what happened.
experience there. That's
Yeah,
hard.
sure. Well,
okay,
share with
this
us like your food experience and then like what your body did just to like normalize it for some women because I'm sure they look at you and they're like, she must never struggle with
oh my
like
God.
weight fluctuations.
You
So
know,
tell us what happened.
I know how to work trips. I know how to be good on trips. I know how to eat my food and balance out yummy dinners with my husband and then just balance out my food throughout the day so I can enjoy the evening. And I know how to do all this. I've done it for years and even this spring I've been on quite a few trips and I've done a really good job on it. But this trip we went to St. Thomas and a beautiful island. We've been there before. I didn't have this experience before, probably because I wasn't competing before, or, I really didn't care about food before. But I've always loved to eat clean and healthy and greens. And like I would eat a lot of salads before, not like I eat now. Like now I'm very balanced. I'm very conscientious with my food and what I choose. And and the restaurants that we would go to, I'd always say, okay, no oil, no butter, keep all the sauces on the side. I would choose beforehand, I would look at the dinners and I would choose what I wanted and I would go there and ask them for it. And it would have everything written out, what it was supposed to be. And I would get it back. Like I had these really good lettuce bowls with poke in them, like just ahi tuna. And, lettuce wraps are usually pretty clean and healthy, but they somehow, they mixed sauces in them that they weren't oils or butter, but they were fats and spices. And most of my food was like that. And I started ordering, this is so funny, but I started ordering hamburgers because I knew what was in a hamburger and I knew I could take half the bun off with no sauces, everything on the side, and turkey sandwiches. Even their ceviche was dirty. So it was just a really different experience, one I'd never had before. That, you can always order clean ceviche that's just fish and everything is pretty clean in it and you can trust it. I mean, every place you go, but this was just really different. Their food was different and it was really spicy and they mixed things together that was never on their menu. And so I ended up just starting to order things that I knew what was in them. And so it was just
That's
a different
frustrating.
experience. Yeah.
Did your
Yeah, that's
stomach hurt
super
at all from
frustrating.
eating like all
My
of that
stomach
sauce?
hurt
Like,
a lot at night.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I would
awful.
have to
That's
go
what
back
he
home and
is.
I take my heating pad with me all the time and I would have to go lay down with my
That's
heating pad
miserable.
on. And yeah, so I was careful during the day with the food that we actually had in the condo, but when it was out to eat, it was just real different. And it's just something I hadn't really experienced before because most places we go, you can order clean food that's just fish and fresh vegetables and, chips and yummy stuff like that. But this was really different. So it's funny, I turned to hamburgers and turkey sandwiches and I would just do half the bread and sauces on the side, and my body felt good with that. So I learned that. And then when I came home, I weighed myself the next morning and I had gained 10 pounds and I've never gained weight like that coming off a flight ever, ever. But we had a canceled flight on the way back. So we stood in line and all that. We were at the airport for probably 6 to 7 hours that one day. They canceled the flight. And so we
Oh,
had to find a hotel and talk to the airline agency and get all that figured out. Go to the hotel. A lot of hotels were booked up because the flights were being canceled. And then we started the next day and stood in line. And so a lot of that ended up in like you wear compression socks. I didn't take any with me. So my legs were they were huge, clear to my ankles. And it took me 2 or 3 days for a lot of that bloat to leave. And yeah, but it's gone now,
How
thank
long?
goodness.
So is your weight back to normal now, or is it still up a little bit?
It's back to normal. And then I went out and had sushi Friday night, and sushi always bloats me. But yeah, That was a good, yeah. Went up a couple pounds and
Took
now
like
it's down
what,
to
like a
10.
week for your weight to come down or so
It took
from all
like
that?
3 days for the water weight to like work through my legs. Like my legs were huge. You couldn't see my shin bones. You could barely see my knees. They were
So we're
huge. I've
talking
never
about like water retention, like you were holding water weight. Like it was, I feel like a
like
lot of women
crazy.
come back from, like, I'll have clients come back from trips sometimes. And I always tell them, give it a week before you even get on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Mm-hmm.
course, they don't listen to
Yeah.
me. They'll get on the scale and
Yeah.
they'll get like this panic text. Oh my gosh, I gained 8 pounds. What the fuck? And I'm like, no, literally, I told you to wait a week to let your
I
body come
know.
down for a reason. And then within a week they're like, "Oh, I'm down." And I'm like, "Yeah, so you were just literally holding water weight."
So much
That's
water,
I would
but
say I see that more common than not with my clients
Mm-hmm.
because
yeah,
like I think the compression socks is a really great idea, but like mom,
yes.
the food that you ate at that on that trip was like so out of your norm that of course your
Yeah.
body would hold water from that too, and your gut and your digestion was probably way off. Like that's
It
hard. That's really not.
it was beautiful, but boy, I haven't had a trip like that for I don't think I've ever had a
That's
trip like
really
that.
hard.
But I kind of learned, yeah, and I learned what food I could eat that my body did well with. So that was a learning curve because I'd never had that before. But, I think a
I
lot
like
of
that you
women,
reframed it as that though. Like a lot of women will
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, I just whatever, throw their hands up in the air and just I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
eat like shit. I'm gonna feel like shit, whatever." But I like that you reframed it and you said, "I still want to feel good on this trip. I don't want to throw everything through it." Because for you, it was like feeling good, like your
yeah,
stomach feeling good and you not being in pain. And so you
yeah,
made a choice, an intentional choice of like, I'm gonna find foods that feel good instead of you being like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm just gonna eat whatever, I'm just gonna stuff my face. Like you made an intentional choice of like taking the control back in whatever way you could. And you did. That's exactly what you did.
yeah.
And I just think that's a really good mindset shift that you had that I think like maybe 10 years ago you wouldn't have done that. So
Mm-hmm.
No,
that's
Yeah.
10 years
Well, and
ago, oh, go ahead, Coda.
oh, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say it also goes to show that choosing a salad or a lettuce wrap isn't always the best option.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I chose a lettuce wrap with ahi tuna and it was just the craziest thing. I've never experienced that. And everything was just, it's just the way they cook over there. And, every culture is different. And we've been there before, but that was, yeah, I had to start choosing very Americanized dishes and things that I knew that I could control. So, yeah, it was a beautiful place. I mean, yeah. But I feel like,
I think that
there are people that have to do that when I had a friend that we were talking after my trip and she's like, I've had to do that because I have celiac disease. I've had to learn what works with my body, and what I can order when I go out. And I'm like, yeah, you would with certain things. So it's interesting. So yeah,
well,
good
thanks for sharing
experience.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll help a lot of women because like I've told your story to some of my clients this last week because they're coming back from trips and they're freaking out and I'm like, hey, like this is normal. Like this happens to myself personally. If I come back from a trip, I'm always usually up 5-6 pounds the next day. Like if I get on the scale, like easy. 10 pounds. That's high. I would say that's probably the
Very high.
max I've ever seen clients. Actually, I had a client once. It was like 12 or 13, but she had she had edema, I think it's called.
Yeah.
She had problems with that, so we had to like actually get her on like a water supplement when she travels.
Wow.
And I even had her go to her doctor to get on like spironolactone. I was like, go to your doctor, spironolactone when you travel because you hold so much. Like she was like you, mom. She sent me a picture of her ankles before and after, and I was like, wow, it's like you've got like two different ankles now. Like you've got. So I think sometimes like you just have to pay attention to what your body does when you travel and not looking at it as like a oh well like that was just a shitty trip. Like you're like I learned what to do next time. Like
I
it
really
is what it
learned.
is. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that mindset shift that you had. That's really cool because
Thank you.
I
And
think a lot of people not.
I'm wearing compression socks next time because I've never blown up like that ever. I never
I'm
travel
gonna do
like
that
that.
too, actually. I'm gonna
It's
do that
actually
too when I
good.
travel for Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I don't get swollen, my weight doesn't go up, but I'll tell you, my legs ache. When I like travel, my legs will like ache and like throb. I have to wear compression socks when I am in my luteal phase of my cycle. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, because my legs cramp so much.
Wow.
But yeah, no, that's really helpful, Mom. So I think like for women that are traveling, especially like this time of year, I feel like this is when a lot of people start going on trips and vacations because
Hmm.
it's like the end of the school year. That's a helpful thing to do. So
Well, and sometimes things just happen that normally don't happen, like flights get canceled and you have two
Mm-hmm.
days in the airport that you're standing in lines, and that affects also your the bloat in your body. And yeah, just
yeah.
things were just really different this time because I've never gained weight like that. But and I'm such a graph girl. I love seeing numbers and stuff. So I got on the scale like 3 hours later, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's helpful. I think that's really helpful. So, yeah, I think I don't know. We kind of talked a little bit. I think a few weeks ago. Maybe was it last week of like, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago about what you were planning and like how you're planning, and then like to hear the aftermath of like everything.
Of
That's
what
that's
really
helpful too.
happened.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
well, it's just realistic. Like, it's just that's
it
real. Like
is.
that's what happens sometimes. And I think for I know for a lot of my clients, like they're control freaks, and so when they go on trips and things don't work out the exact way they
Oh, it's
wanted to, they
frustrating.
go yeah, they go from like being 100% to just being like whatever, fuck it. Like it doesn't really matter, does it? It still matters. Like you can still like mom, you just said I'm just gonna try to find what I can actually eat and then control that and not obsess about it. And that
The
that was
most
like the mindset.
Americanized dishes, a hamburger and a turkey sandwich. I ended up just doing
Yum.
those because I couldn't count on their food. I know,
I mean,
but
your stomach though and like your gut health I think is important too in that subject because
hmm.
like I have a client that just it's interesting. I've worked on her a lot with like her mindset shift, but there are a lot of foods that she just cannot tolerate and she's close to your age, mom, and she's has been so frustrated that like I used to be able to eat these foods, but I can't eat them anymore. And I said, look, like
Yeah.
when you go through hormonal shifts as a female, your gut microbiome literally changes. Like it changes and it shifts. And so what you used to be able to tolerate maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even
Oh,
5 years ago,
very
you
true.
probably can't tolerate anymore. So like, and that's the thing. Like there's actual, like when I went through my certifications for perimenopause and menopause, I learned a lot of, it was like crazy how much they talked about the gut microbiome and the hormones. And so when you go through those changes, like your gut literally changes. And so then I think like too as females as we age, we're going through hormonal shifts, our gut microbiome changes and we get frustrated. It's like, well, why can't I eat these foods that I used to eat? And I think for you, mom, instead of you being like, oh, well, whatever, I can't eat any of these foods here. You just said, I just want to feel good. Like, I just want to feel good while I'm on this trip and not be in pain. And I think, like, for women who have, like bloating issues or gut issues or anything like that, like, it's a mindset shift of, like, I'm going to choose to eat food so I can actually feel good. Um, don't make it about your weight. Don't make it about, like, especially when you're on a trip like that, like, don't be
Oh
like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, like, I'm gonna be so fat when I get home. Like, as soon as you tell yourself that, you're gonna be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want. But if you talk it to yourself and be like you were literally like, I just need to learn how to eat on this trip so I'm not in pain every night and my stomach doesn't, like, extend out, like, so much. I'm hurting so much. That was, like, the big shift you had. And I know for me, that's a big thing when I go on trips, like, just reminding myself like I still want to feel good because I know what it feels like to not feel good because you have issues with that too, don't you, like
Hmm.
severe gut issues?
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah. If
It
I eat
is.
anything that I know my stomach's sensitive to, like sometimes even before we get a meal, I'll like look at it and I'm like, this is gonna upset my stomach, and it does. It does. Like I just know my gut. I know what it's sensitive to and what it can and can't handle. But that's a learned thing. Like that didn't. I just don't know that just because that is something that I have learned and experienced, and I have to keep relearning, and I have to keep reminding myself and going through those times where I am in pain and being like, that was not worth it, you know?
I
So,
know.
Yeah, I think that that's really like helpful for, I don't know, for a lot of women because when you're dealing with like, I don't know, it's just it's so uncomfortable to be like not only bloated but like to have like those sharp
Hurt.
stomach pains. Oh, there's nothing worse than
Oh,
that.
yeah, that
Those are
hurts.
awful. And I have a lot of clients that experience that, and until they start working with me, they don't recognize it fully. They just
mhm.
think that that's normal to feel like bloated, but to also have like sharp stomach pains. And I'm like, that's not normal. Or they'll just have like severe gas all the time. I'm like, that's also not normal. That means you're not like fully digesting your food. Like that's not good. It's okay to have a little bit of farting, but like if you're farting all day, like 7 days a week, and you're just stinking up everything, like that's not good.
It's
That's
true.
like me and you, Coda. We used to struggle
I
with that
know.
so bad.
I keep thinking
Our
about you too,
fiber.
and you were both in Logan,
Not
and
just the fiber, our bags of broccoli we used to eat. Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
Oh, do I? I remember that. The broccoli
we all
stink,
remember
and then
that.
also our farts stink.
We would do a bag of broccoli every night. Well, me and Coda,
That's a lot.
Jordan went on like this. It was just, I'm like, wow, we just, of course we
As
were farting. And of course, I think our stomachs would hurt too. We would just push through it. And we
We
just,
just
I don't
didn't
know, we just stopped
understand.
doing that.
We thought what we
No,
were
we
doing
didn't
was
understand.
great, and we just didn't understand. Yeah.
Because it was healthy, right? Because it was healthy. Like
every
the fiber brownie, we need
yes,
fiber. And then the broccoli, you get your veggies. And so I think for a lot of women, like, like you talked about the salad with mom or the lettuce wrap, like sometimes we think the healthy option is the best option. But my biggest thing is if your gut, like if you're bloated and you've got bad gas and your
Mm-hmm.
stomach like sharp, it's not the best option because you're not digesting or absorbing the nutrients. So you're probably like for me, I'm better off eating a damn cookie than I am eating like a salad that's like got massive amounts of dressing and cheese
Yes.
and bacon because that will wreck my stomach. Plus, it has probably more calories in it. Plus, I like the cookie more. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
let's talk about
And
that
then
for a minute.
about what?
Yeah, just
What
kind
did
of
you want
like
to?
I don't know, like the foods and stuff. Just keep talking what you're talking. You're
Yeah.
flowing.
So
Sorry.
I actually, that's funny because that's what I was just going to talk about. I had a client lately who was like, it's funny. I kind of changed up my meal. I added some stuff in, and I said, okay, let's take a look at what you had. And we looked at it. There was some like extra dairy in there, some extra like, even just like sodium and stuff. And she's like, I woke up the next day feeling bloated. And she's like, I could eat this prior to working with you and not have issues. But now she's like, I know what it feels like to have good digestion. And I was like, welcome to having good
wonderful.
digestion. So it's a good win. But at the same time, I'm like, now you know what it feels like to feel good. And so now you have to be conscious and careful because and she's like, do people really like not know what it feels like to have good digestion, and so they just eat foods that upset their tummies all the time? I'm like, yes, 100%. I'm like,
Yeah.
I would say most people deal with that, and then when they come and work with us, um they really start to pay attention to how they feel overall. And that is one of those things, is you kind of learn your food sensitivities, or you can learn how much dairy you can and can't get away with, and just stuff like that. So it's really funny. There's one client I was thinking about specifically, but I've actually had that experience with like several lately. So it's kind of funny because cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are kind of like a hype thing right now, but a lot of people are also
So
having a lot of issues with them. Yeah.
so hyped. I know. It's always funny in the high fiber tortillas and the high fiber
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
breads.
those
Yeah.
hurt my
Um,
stomach.
those, yeah, those. I have never had a client in my history of coaching, which is over a decade, be able to feel good while eating those. If we really truly pay attention to it. For a lot of women, like the problem is, like you said, Dakota, they don't know what good digestion feels like. So they're used to being like constantly bloated. They don't know they're bloated. They don't know that
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're in a little bit of pain digestively. But once you have like even like a week or a few days of like good digestion, you almost immediately recognize it the next day and you're like, wow, my body does not actually feel great when I eat those kinds of foods. But that's where most people live, is they live in that place of like bad digestion, bad bloating. I had my same client I was just talking about. She was like so upset. She's like, why is it now that I have a slice of pizza and I'm so bloated the next day? And I said, well, because you have intolerances to dairy. We found a dairy intolerance for you and a little bit of a gluten intolerance for you. Like you can have some gluten but not a ton. And I said, you just are more aware now. I said, the old version of you didn't really know the difference. So you would eat it and you would push through the uncomfortableness. Now you eat it, you wake up the next day or even in a few hours later and you're in pain. And it's not that you weren't in pain before, you probably just were constantly feeling that way. And I know for me, totally the case. Like when I think
Mm-hmm.
back to our fiber brownie and broccoli bags, ugh, like I was in pain. I look back at that and I'm like, my stomach, I looked pregnant, and I remember like we were so stinky and my stomach would hurt so bad, but I thought, well, this is healthy. I had a coach at the time that would tell me to eat those things, so I was listening to my coach. Eat the broccoli, eat the fiber. Like this is what we need to be healthy, but it was actually work. I remember I was probably the most inflamed and swollen I've
Mm-hmm.
ever been because I was eating foods that my body was like, we're not absorbing or digesting this. So I think sometimes, like, instead of focusing so heavily, I think women are so focused on healthy, eat healthy,
Mm-hmm.
like the healthy foods, like all the veggies, all like the high fiber, the cottage cheeses, the Greek
If it
yogurts,
fits
like
your macros, like
if
remember
it's
to
your
pay
macros.
attention to
Are you
your
getting
food
protein?
quality. Yeah.
Right. Are you eating foods that feel good for your digestion? Like, mom, that's what you did on your trip. Like, you're like, these foods are covered in sauces and spices that my stomach isn't doing good with. So instead of you pushing through the uncomfortableness, you said, I'm going to just eat foods that you're going to try. You tried out foods and you're like, no, I actually feel good when I eat this. It doesn't hurt my stomach. I don't feel bloated. And so you continue to do that. And I feel like if more women could lean on that side of like, eating to feel good instead of eating to be healthy or to
Mhm.
get more protein in, like cottage cheese and all the fake protein things that are out there, they probably lose more weight. They probably feel less bloated. They probably feel better in their clothes. But I think we still live in a world that it's like eat healthy, but healthy
Mm-hmm.
isn't always like health foods. Sometimes it's literally finding what works best for your body and what feels best with what you eat. So I don't know. I think that everything you said about that trip, mom, that like kind of aligns with
Mm-hmm.
all that because I feel like I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
It's
you
just
think,
crazy to me that we still live in that world of health, eat healthy, and it's like, ooh, like sometimes that's the worst thing you could do, right?
well,
Mm-hmm.
you think greens and you think lettuce wraps, greens and stuff, but they can be covered in sauces and spices and um, other vegetables that you really don't know about that they may like in their culture, but your body can't tolerate. And so I did try it. I did. I love eating like new stuff when I'm on vacation, but my body couldn't tolerate their foods. It just couldn't. So I ended up eating stuff that I knew my body liked. And yeah, it was a good trip. And it was important to be present there and have fun and still have cookies. Like we always had bags of cookies that, yeah. So it was a good trip.
But I think something else that was cool that you mentioned to me, Mom, was that Dad saw how it was affecting you at night, and he actually, when you were ordering foods, was like, now remember, we can't do X, Y, and Z on this, like please make sure, because he saw how uncomfortable it made you. And I thought that that was a really cool thing too, because like not only
Yeah.
were you experiencing that, he saw how it affected you.
It well,
That's
it
how
was our
Jordan and
trip. It was our third night in a row, and He's like, now she
That's
can't
so
have butter or oils. And they still ended up bringing a big bowl of, I don't even know what it was, but it had scallops, lobster, and shrimp. And, no butter or oil, but I remember looking at them and they were tainted with butter. And the hole underneath the dish was, and I'm just
Oh,
like, this is my
I've had that.
last night. So I ended up letting him eat a lot of that. And his fish that he ordered was just laced in butter and oil. You could just see it. And, it's just funny. It's just cultural things and how they cook. And as much as you say it, their cooks don't really hear it, or it's just not, I don't know. Sometimes they
Their
don't hear
job
it.
is to
So,
make the food taste good. Their job is to
yeah.
make the
yeah.
food taste good.
Yeah. And so after that third night, I'm like, I'm just going to order hamburgers and turkey sandwiches. And so then it was better. But yeah. Yeah. So, but it's funny because all the food that we think's healthy that would be good for us, the greens, and they can end up hurting our stomach. But even Chuck Norris, you guys remember Chuck Norris, right? Him and his
Yeah,
wife,
I
like
do.
they were both just health gurus, and they kind of came out with this health code, and people had asked him, so do you choose a salad or bread with your food, with your entree? And they're like, we choose bread because not every salad is going to go with your gut. And so they started choosing breads, and breads can be a lot
That's
more
cool.
easier on your gut. So
And
it's
Chuck Norris
it's
is
just
always right.
interesting. A lot of people that are, I
Don't
know
argue
he
with it.
is. But a lot of these health gurus, I mean, they've been through it, they've lived it, and they're like, a lot of breads are so much healthier than the greens that, our farms produce, or a lot of the, not preservatives, but the pesticides. So there's a lot of other things that go into our foods that can hurt our stomachs that, we try to be healthy, but it's filled with other things. So yeah. Anyways, whole nother subject. But
Well, no, I think that's a really valid point because I think like we still live in a world, and honestly it still blows my mind that like I get on social media and people are like demonizing like fruit, and they're demonizing like literally just like foods that are actually probably better for you than a cup of broccoli.
yeah.
I tell my clients like, they're like, oh well, and again, not all my clients have issues with broccoli. Okay, I have clients that can eat broccoli and they're fine, but I mean, we still live in a world where it's like, I don't know. There's so much demonization happening with food that people don't take a minute, and they don't know, they don't have the skills, and this is why having like a coach who understands this stuff, like they don't have the skills to recognize what foods their body's actually digesting well, because they've just been living in that like uncomfortableness for so long.
Hmm.
That's why, like, when you and dad like went out and you ate that food, it maybe years ago it wrecked your gut, but I remember you had bad stomach pains for a really long time. And so did Dakota, so did I. We just pushed through it. Like, oh, this is normal. Everybody
Hmm.
struggles. But once you're empowered with that knowledge and you learn how to, like, what does
Go
my body
around
do
it.
well with, what my body do well with, you only make that mistake once or twice, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right, I can't. Not that, like, so Jordan's like that with me too when we're out places. I will be like, okay, I have a dairy allergy. I'm not like actually allergic to dairy, but I found if you say you have an allergy with anything that you don't digestively tolerate, they take that seriously. In the United States at least. They will flag your food and make sure there's no dairy on that at all. So for me, like even some certain sauces can really really make me sick. And so Jordan's usually like, okay, remember she has a dairy allergy because he's also seen me at the end of the night literally like doubled over in pain because my stomach's so upset. And that's not fun. Like nobody wants to
Mm-mm.
be on a trip feeling like that. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that with us, Mom. I think that opened up a really good subject around like
Yeah.
healthy versus unhealthy foods. And it's not always about healthy food. Sometimes it's about what foods work best for you
That's
and
right.
your
I think
body.
that's the key is learning what your body likes, but that takes a lot of practice. Like Dakota said, she's learned things over and over again. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is big learning. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's good. I think that that's That's really helpful. I mean, anything you guys else want to talk about? Because I feel like that's a really good subject, actually.
That was awesome.
Um,
The Q&A we can touch on another time. So,
yeah, we can do the Q&A another time. We're already like 40 minutes in,
yeah.
so good luck to you, Dakota,
Yes.
with your competition this weekend. Have so much fun. Me and Mom went to Pittsburgh last year. Remember that, Mom?
Oh yeah.
It's fun.
Oh yeah.
We stayed in an Airbnb. I wish we would have stayed at the hotel because the
Oh,
Airbnb was like on up like the longest stairs ever, and it was kind of in like a sketchy
Oh, how
area. Uh,
stressful.
it was a little. It was stressful when I got there because I couldn't get into the Airbnb. Um, and I had to like call the lady, and I was like, I can't get in. And then we got in there, and it smelled like cigarette smoke, and I get migraines
mm.
so easily. And I messaged her and I said, it smells like cigarette smoke in here. Like help. And she sent me like some bombing stuff, but it just smelled like cigarette smoke with bombing stuff. So I think after that experience, I will probably start staying in hotels that are the host hotels. Because at least in a hotel, they can be like, oh, let's get you into another room.
Yeah.
When you're in an Airbnb, you're just SOL, you know?
Hmm.
But it was still
So
fun. It was still
we had
fun.
a lot of fun. It was a disco room. It was really cool. Had a
Oh,
disco at the
wow.
top. Yeah, it was fun though. We had a good time.
That's gonna be
Um,
Dakota. She's gonna be partying at Pittsburgh. Yes. So
what
exciting.
we went to this place. It was called like tacos and tequilas and tacos or something.
Oh
They
yeah.
were so good. The street tacos. Oof,
Mm.
I can't remember what the name is.
That was
Um,
fun.
but it was really yummy. It was really yummy.
That's,
So,
I always have to
well, have
look for
fun.
places that are open late because I always plan to get done late. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
It's a bar. It's a bar, so
So it's
you'll be
open.
good.
Yeah.
It's open late. Yeah, I think that's why we went because it was pretty late. And then
I
we had to
expect
turn
that.
around. You remember this, Dakota? Me and Mom had to turn around the next morning at like 3
That was
a.m.
a year ago.
And that was almost a year ago. It
Yes.
was August.
I
Isn't
remember
that
this
crazy?
trip. I remember
That's when we
this.
caught
Oh,
the flight and we did the
I
photo shoot.
it was awful. Mom didn't. I drank. Mom did not, and so I was still very hungover when we got to the airport. I was like, "Hi, I'm Brooklyn," like because I drank and it was like 1 a.m. We got back to the Airbnb at like 1:30.
You
And we
guys,
had to
I
turn
remember you
around,
like
get
that you
catch up.
packed. That you packed and you're like, how did we
Oh,
make sure that we
I was
had
drunk
everything?
packing.
It
I
was
was
so
drunk
late.
packing. I was
And we
like,
got up
"Mom,
so
help me!"
early.
Drunk packing. I'm like packing stuff, and I'm like, "I think we got it."
And then we had the photo shoot that next day. That was
Had-
it, right?
oh my
And then
gosh,
you
I will
drove
never
up
do
to meet
that.
us. That was a
Yeah,
beautiful photo shoot.
you guys
It was insane.
came
That was beautiful.
and I remember just feeling so bad for you guys. Like I had a long drive, but you guys, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I did not have the travel day that they just had.
I will
Yeah.
never do that again. I will never schedule a photo shoot the day after a show. Like if I'm in Utah, it's different. But the day after a show, after travel, I was like, no, unless I'm in like California. But no way, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
but
would
those photos.
those photos
Oh,
were
those.
pretty.
Photos are
Oh my gosh, they were
amazing.
just breathtaking.
The salt
Yeah.
flats, that was fun. We need to do when because we're all in season right now, so we need to
Yeah.
do another photo shoot where we're all fully
Was
in
that the
season.
Salt Flats?
Tell me when to get
No,
ready
that
for.
was that
That
the
was.
studio?
It was farther.
No, that was the
The
salt
Salt
flat. We went to
Flats?
the actual salt flats. Yeah, where it looked like we are kind of at a beach, but we weren't. It's just
Remember
the salt.
Huh.
the drive was so long. It was so
No,
long.
that doesn't track.
I drove that. I was like,
The
I
time of
shouldn't
year,
have
I
drove
know,
it.
because we did that in the
Really.
fall, so I'm confused. We did the one in
Oh,
the
That was like
spring,
late August.
was it?
Yeah.
And okay, so
Yeah,
was it a
because
different show
it
from
was after
Pittsburgh
North.
then?
So
Oh,
not
okay, we're
this
talking about
one.
different shows.
I
I
didn't do
see.
this one. Yeah, I did North Americans, which is the same place you're competing at. Literally, it's the same place.
Okay, that makes
It's just
sense.
it's just a different show. Yeah. So it was late August, and then yeah, but we should schedule one like maybe in August
Yes.
again or July.
Rob,
We'll
Rob.
yeah, maybe
I
like
know.
July, June. I don't know. I'm maybe going to Canada in like a month
Oh,
for my show. I know. My coach said, "What do you think about doing Toronto?" And I was like,
That would be
"Ooh."
sweet,
I'm like, "I've
actually.
never been to Canada," and he's
I
like,
think that'd be
"Well, it's
cool.
a good opportunity for you." Yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, I've just never traveled outside the country for a show." And then I told Jordan, and he's like, "Brooklyn, do you understand like how close Toronto is to the U.S.?" He goes, "If you wanted to, you could walk back to the States if you really wanted to." And
it
I'm
is
like,
really
"Okay."
close. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
back
like
east.
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to look it up on a
it's like a
map.
three. I know. I was
I
like, I
think it's
could
above.
drive there. It's just Canada, but no, it's on the other side of the country and then north.
Yeah,
So
it's above New York and all those places. It's
That's
yeah,
sweet,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
Brooklyn.
he's
That'd
like
be cool.
yeah. So he basically is like he's very confident that I am going to qualify this year. He believes in me more than I believe in myself. So hallelujah for him
How
because
important is that?
yeah, we talked on the phone last week and he was like, "Okay, so you're for sure doing Orlando." He's like, "We'll see where you're at there and then I want you to do Toronto. And then from Toronto, if you don't, we're not quite there yet, we'll do the Linda Murray Classic, which is I won the overall last year at that one." And he goes, "And if we're not there yet, you'll do Nashville, and if you're not there, we'll do Pennsylvania." And he goes, "But I feel like Canada will be it for you." And I'm like, "I don't know, dude." So,
Good
That's
it's good
vibes.
to
Sending
have
the
exciting.
good
coaches
vibes
that
out
believe
there,
in
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no
I
kidding.
I'm just kind of I won't lie, this last week, the last few days I've been like, do I even want to keep competing or do I just want to be done for the season? But I signed my contract already for Orlando, so I have to go.
Yeah, you
Or I
do.
owe the IFBB $1,000. So I have to do it. So
And
um
Disneyland, Disney World after. Yes.
we're not doing Disney after. It's like 90 degrees in Florida in
That's
June.
heavy in Florida.
Um with Brecken and I'm not doing that with him. So I think we're just gonna do St. George. We're just gonna drive to St.
It'll be
George,
fun.
which it'll be warm, but it won't be humid. It'll be easier because I have to turn around 2 weeks later and go to Canada.
Oh, wow.
That'll be fun.
Life as a pro.
The
Pretty
life of
cool.
yeah, I'm like I don't know what I'm doing here. So I haven't decided on Canada yet, but he's very much so like yeah, we're doing Canada. I'm like I don't know. So
I know. And with Dakota and her show, yes. So
yeah,
excited for
Pittsburgh will be
that.
fun. I'm really excited to watch that this weekend.
Me
So,
too.
all right,
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
be rooting for
excited.
you. Yay,
She
it'll be
looks
so
like the
fun.
bomb. Excited.
Pittsburgh's cool. It's a cool city. Well, we'll
Yeah.
just go to wrap it up for today. If you guys, like this podcast, please like, share, comment. It definitely helps. Like anytime you do any of those things, please share with someone you feel like might need this. Yeah, and everybody comment below if you can. Cheer Dakota on for her show. Go Dakota
Yay.
for this next week. And if you guys are interested in coaching or help or anything, go ahead and send me a message on any of my social media platforms. But if nothing else, I hope that you guys found this podcast today helpful, maybe educational, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, awesome.